Welcome back to Country Conversations. My name is Joey, and as always, I am joined by...
Hey man, it's Chris over here. What's going on tonight, Joey?
Not a whole lot, my man. Just had a nice evening with the fam. Started a new job the past week or so, and just kind of rolling through that, and just been really busy, man. What's been up with you?
Oh, about the same, really, man. Just trying to get over this cold and head into concert season.
Man, I feel you.
We got a good weekend coming up.
Yeah, we do, man. I've been under the weather the past week or so myself, man. I'm finally around in third and heading for home, though. But, yeah, we do have a good weekend. Tonight, though, we are going to be talking about a throwback album after we kind of get through some of our updates and banter here. But just to let the listeners know what we're going to be talking about is Jason Aldean's Night Train album. And I know it may be kind of strange talking about an older album, an album that turns 10 years old this year. But I actually made a TikTok on our TikTok account, I don't know, probably about a week or two ago. And it was country songs that are turning 10 this year. And Night Train is obviously one of those songs that was in the video. And it just seemed to get a lot of comments and a lot of people responding that Night Train was their favorite and that they really liked that album and that, it was just a really big album for Aldean. So it kind of inspired you and I to do that for our episode tonight.
Absolutely, man.
So, we do have a good weekend coming up, man. I've got two shows this weekend. So I've got Dylan Carmichael. Yeah, you do? Yeah, you do too. I've got Dylan Carmichael.
You have one Friday?
Yeah, Dylan's Friday, Dylan Carmichael. He's playing at Tin Roof in Cincinnati. So it's like a small, I don't know if you've ever been to Tin Roof. It's like a little bar.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, and then you've got Winona, right?
I've got Winona, absolutely. In Paramount, at the Paramount Ashland, about an hour and 10 minutes from our house. It's an old historic theater that they have converted over to performance hall, and it's I think I've got like 4 or 5 shows coming up at the Paramount in the next month. It's one of my favorite places to see a show. So, and Winona is a queen of the 90s, so it'll be a good night. And she's from down in that area, so it's kind of always a homecoming for her.
That's awesome, man. That'll be a good time. And then Saturday, you, my brother, and myself are venturing out to Indianapolis to see Eric Church.
Whew, man, it's gonna be.
So that's gonna be a fun one.
It's gonna be that'll be the first, probably not wild, but long night I've had since my back surgery. So
yeah,
I'm anxious for it. So we
got
seats,
so
right? We're not in the pit, so we should be okay.
Yeah, we'll be good. My knee's still recovering. If you guys are avid listeners of the show, I fell a few weeks ago, hurt my knee, but I'm all good. Just getting old and banged up, but but yeah, we'll be good. We got seats if we need to take a seat, but. So that'll be a heck of a time. And then Sunday, I'm actually going to see the new Jackass movie.
Oh, that's funny. Did you see Johnny Knoxville come out at the Royal Rumble this past weekend?
I did not, man.
They had announced that he was going to be one of the entries, but when he came out, he had like this superhero outfit on, and all of the other guys from the movie were kind of like his hype squad. It was you need to look it up on YouTube. It's hilarious.
I'll check it out.
It was hilarious.
That's awesome, man. Oh, speaking of shows, though, I forgot to mention I did see Kojo last week, Cody Johnson.
Whew. I was supposed to this past weekend and was not able to.
So I finally, those of you that listen to the show know that I've tried to see this guy like 3 or 4 times, and it's always like fell through and I couldn't make it, or he had to go on vocal rest or whatever. I finally got to see him. 10 out of 10 for sure.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Dude, his vocals live are just, my gosh. Sounds just as good as the recording, if not better. Just that raw voice.
What'd you think of his energy and style on stage?
Crazy. Mini Garth, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Running around, jumping around, hooping and hollering, dancing. Yeah. Oh, he's fun, man.
He's a cowboy for sure.
Absolutely. Super entertaining. And then Easton Corbin was pretty good, too.
Oh, yeah.
Ian Munsick was supposed to be the opener. It was supposed to be Ian, Easton Corbin, and Kojo, but Ian, somebody on his team got COVID or something, so they had to back out. But, even just with Easton and Cody, it was an awesome show, man. We had a good time. We were in the pit, and it was good to be in the pit for a country music show. It's been a while since I've had pit tickets to anybody at like a venue like that anyway.
That probably wore you out there.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was... I was wore out, man. We flew out of there, though. Deer Rodeo was what he said was the last song. and I'd seen somebody had posted the set list in one of the Kojo groups I'm in on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
the last song was Dear Rodeo, so we heard like the first couple verses, and then my wife was like, "You ready to go?" I was like, "Yeah, let's roll, beat traffic," and we ran
That's
out,
funny.
and we maybe waited 2 minutes in the parking lot and got out of there, thank God. But nice little venue. It was over in it was at NKU, Northern Kentucky University. One of their, I forget the name of the arena, but it's a smaller like college arena.
Had you seen any other shows there before?
No, I'd never been there, and it's not too far from us. It was less than an hour away, and I've never been there.
It's crazy, man. Was it? You think you'll end up going back? I'm sure if there's other acts, you'll definitely end up going back.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I'm definitely gonna keep an eye and maybe like sign up for their newsletter on email or something just to see if any other country acts are gonna show up there. But yeah, definitely a place I'd revisit.
That's cool, man.
But
What else has been going on in the country music scene in the last couple of weeks?
oh well, today Luke Bryan announced his tour, so
He
that's
did.
pretty cool. Luke Bryan's
What
gonna be
What's
oh,
it called? Raised Up Right.
yeah,
Is that the
Raised
name
Up
of
Right
it?
tour,
That must be a new song that's coming.
which is funny because Drew Parker has a song Raised Up Right that's unreleased.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Oh,
I was
that's
kind of
interesting.
thrown out. That's why I was like, "What?"
Drew's had a couple outside cuts, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's the song that Luke Bryan's going to record.
That would be interesting. I don't know, man. Drew's been teasing it on social media
Oh,
and
has he?
yeah, and like TikTok. Well, I said social media, but like TikTok, Facebook, and it's one that the people that go to the live shows really like. So I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew cuts that himself. He may. I think there is actually a. I'd have to go and look, but I think on his social media, it's actually a recorded version that he's teased. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well.
I know I've definitely seen live videos of it, but I think there's actually like a produced version too. So I don't know. I don't
Maybe
know,
Drew
man.
and Luke Bryan are going to have competing songs out.
Same title. But yeah, Mitchell Tenpenny and Riley Green are the openers.
That's right, man.
So.
The tour's opening in my backyard here in Charleston. So
No Ohio date. I was like, what?
not yet,
I'm like,
not yet.
Which Riverbend and Cincinnati, they always wait to announce their mega ticket summer fall lineup. So I've seen in the past where artists won't say Cincinnati, and then the mega ticket will come out, and then they'll add the Cincinnati date. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I'd love to. My wife likes going to see Luke Bryan and her friends, and I always go with them and have a good time. So we'll see if he kind of makes the trip to Ohio. He's played like Great American Ballpark. You know, I think one year they did a big country fest at Paul Brown Stadium, the Bengals Stadium.
Yeah, he did. He's done a bunch of the farm tours. I know.
Oh, yeah,
he
the
did,
farm
he did
tour
a
in
farm
Ohio.
tour in Ohio near you guys last year. So
Yeah,
he usually plays Ohio a lot.
yeah. Every year, I mean, I'm trying to think back the last like 8-10 years. I can't think of him not being here at least at one of our venues. So I'm sure they'll add an Ohio date, but I'd love to see Riley though.
Oh yeah,
He killed it last year when we saw him in Kentucky.
it's crazy that Riley. I mean, he hasn't had a radio hit in 2 or 3 years, and he's scheduled to open for Luke Combs on the Canadian dates, which I'm guessing those are probably going to get canceled or postponed. And then now he's going to open for Luke Bryan. I mean, the big heavy hitters know that Riley's got a huge fan base, so it's cool. It's cool to see him still getting that kind of recognition.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's not headlining these places soon. I mean, he's got the following for it.
Yeah.
I mean, when he played country concert in Ohio last year, I mean, the whole crowd was just loving it. And obviously, I Wish Grandpa's Never Died. That's a huge hit, but I mean, I wasn't there. My wife was there and sent me videos of it, and I was like, holy cow. And he was like the 6 o'clock
You just
guy.
saw him in Pikeville, and I think that one holds maybe 4.5, 5,000.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Sold out, packed.
Yeah, I mean, the next step up is the big arenas and big amphitheaters. So we'll see.
Yeah. Thomas Rhett announced a tour.
He did. He's going
Parker-
to be what, Dayton closest
Yeah,
to
Dayton,
you?
up by Wright
October?
State in Dayton. Yeah, it's probably like 35 minutes from me. But yeah, Thomas Rhett, Connor Smith, and Parker McCollum.
That's a good lineup.
It is, man. I was looking at tickets. There's some pretty cheap ones. That place only holds like 10,000 people.
When you say cheap, what are you talking? 40, $50?
Probably after fees and taxes, because Ticketmaster loves to add that on. But the face value for like a nosebleed is probably like $27.50. I think is what I was looking at. $27, $30.
That's not bad.
No, not bad. Actually, before we started recording tonight, I was looking at them to see how much they had sold, and there's still like VIP pit tickets available, floor seats and everything.
Yeah, but by the time the show rolls around, it'll sell out or get close to selling out, I'm sure.
Yeah, because it's not until October, and this is January 31st that we're recording. So I mean, you got about 9 months before the show even happens. So
Yeah, I mean, with COVID and everything, unless you're Combs or Morgan, you're probably not going to sell out immediately. I mean, those are
unless it's a heavy
everything else
hitter.
you can. Yeah, Garth.
Yeah,
obviously.
Garth, Brooks and Dunn, Travis Tritt.
I was actually going to text you today, but about this, but there's a venue kind of straight below you, near between Lexington and Louisville, kind of south of that, called the Renfro Valley. I don't think you've been there, but I think the venue probably holds 2,000, and they're like every weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 90s country. I mean, it's crazy the amount of people they get, and he sold out twice. I think it's a Friday, Saturday there
Nice.
in like April, I think. And it's the acoustic show, no band. That'd be fun to see. I've seen Travis acoustic, and then obviously we saw him with the full band with Brooks and Dunn. And he can do it both ways, man. It's good
yeah.
no matter how you sing.
Yeah, man, he's phenomenal. The 2 times I've seen him, we saw him at a small casino over in Indiana, and he killed it. And then we saw him, you and I saw him open for Brooks and Dunn. And he was amazing. So,
That's right, man.
but yeah, a bunch of new music coming out this year.
Oh yeah.
These folks have all announced albums, and some of them are actually coming out pretty quick. Priscilla Block, Thomas Rhett, Muscadine Bloodline, Cameron Marlowe. I would go ahead and step out on a limb and say Luke Combs 3 is coming this year.
Something for Luke is coming. What, March 19th? Is that the date that he teased in the video? And,
I didn't even see that. Was that on TikTok or something?
No, in the doing this video, there's a
Oh, yeah.
319, which I guess people are saying is either the due date for the baby or the album, because those are probably the two biggest things that'll happen to Luke this year.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that, man. I don't know. I was watching Luke Combs updates. She had a live with Cappy on probably like 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
And I was watching. I jumped in really quick to kind of tune in, and which Luke Combs updates is a fan page. Kayla runs the page. She's actually been on the show before, way back when we first started this whole thing. And yeah, she was asking him like, what's next, what's going on? Like, you guys are kind of keeping things secret. You haven't really leaked a whole bunch of information.
What did he say? I missed that.
He said he doesn't know. He's like, you'll find out though. He wouldn't give any details. And he said he likes how they're kind of doing things now by paraphrasing. Obviously, it was something along the lines of they like keeping people in anticipation now. And I mean, Luke's at that point in his career where he can do that, and people are still going to jump on it.
Oh yeah.
It's not like when he was starting out having to leak every single thing, play every single unreleased song live, and put it all over Vine or YouTube or whatever. So I'm ready for it, though, with the things they have teased, just the lyrics, the production on the 5-Leaf Clover, and then Tomorrow Me that he put up on social media.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
awesome.
Country music. That was amazing, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that Priscilla's follow-up single, what is it, My Bar,
My Bar,
the number
yeah.
one added song to country radio this week. So that's pretty
Yeah.
good for her.
Yeah, the most added song to country radio. She made a post about it today, too.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a fun song. It's good. I like Priscilla.
I think she probably played it the other times you've seen her, but I know she played it at the acoustic jam.
Yeah, she did. She played it when she opened for Ashley McBride, too. The people loved it. People are loving her, man, for sure. She's got a great voice.
She does, and she's got her own kind of persona and thing going on, so I mean.
Oh, yeah. Very
it's easy
unique, just kind of herself.
Yeah, she's very,
but yeah,
absolutely, man.
I'm excited to see how her album turns out. I'm actually pretty excited for all these. Thomas Rhett's, I'm kind of like meh, because Country Again Side A, as we talked about, was one of my favorite albums of last year. And then the few things he has put out since then, it's kind of like, what are you doing? Like Church Boots, I did not like that at all. I did not like it. Did you listen to it?
I would say that I did listen to it, but probably not a second time, because it did not stick with me. I'll wait till the album and give the album a listen, because it's got a duet with Riley that they announced, and then it's got a duet with
Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm anxious to see that. But Angels, the other song that he dropped off the album, is actually really good though. I'll give him that. I really like that one a lot. But yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and jump into this Night Train talk, man.
Let's do it, man. Let's
jump in a time machine here.
Shoo, man, 10 years. That does not seem like 10 years ago. That's crazy.
No, it does not. So I've got some background info that I kind of wanted to go over and recap, and then we'll kind of do what we always do. If you guys are new here, what we do is we give a bunch of background on an album or an artist that we want to talk about in the episode, and then we will rate the project on a scale of 1 to 10. Sometimes we'll do 1 to 5, but today we're feeling a 1 out of 10. And then we're going to rank, each of us are going to rank our top 10 songs off the project. There's 15 total. We're just going to do a top 10, and then we'll go number 10 all the way up to number 1. So
let's do it. Give us some background on the album there, Jay.
Yeah, so Night Train was the 5th studio album for Jason Aldean, and it released on October 16, 2012. It was produced by Michael Knox and features Aldean's road band, actually, which is pretty cool. This album actually also has a collab with Luke Bryan and Eric Church on The Only Way I Know, which, if you don't listen carefully, you'll miss Chief.
He's at the end, yeah.
Yeah. The album debuted at number 1 on the U.S. Billboard 200, making it Aldean's first album to do so. And it also sold 409,000 copies on its first week, making it the biggest opening sales for a country album since Taylor Swift's Speak Now, which sold 1,049,000 copies in 2010, as well as the 4th biggest opening sales for an album in 2012. Something else I found interesting here was Black Tears had previously been recorded by Florida Georgia Line on their debut EP.
That's an amazing song by Florida Georgia Line, and there's not much else that they've done that's similar to that song.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But that was on their debut EP, Anything Like Me. And then Night Train was certified platinum, signifying 1 million copies shipped in December of 2012. And it was Aldean's 5th straight album to do so. And it was the 10th best-selling album of 2012 in the United States, having sold 1,024,000 copies for the year. And as of January 2015, the album has sold 1,750,000 copies in the U.S. The track list from the album, you've got This Nothing Town, When She Says Baby, Feel That Again, Wheels Rollin', Talk, The Only Way I Know, Take a Little Ride, I Don't Do Lonely Well, Night Train, 1994, Staring at the Sun, Drink One for Me, Black Tears, Walking Away, and Water Tower.
Shoo, man.
Solid
classic Aldean right there, man.
Yeah. When I look at this album, I'm like, these are some of my favorite Aldean songs of all time.
Yeah. It's a solid project all around. It's got, when you look at the writers on this project, this was like classic Aldean. You've got Neil Thrasher and Wendell Mobley, who wrote about half of this album. You got David Lee Murphy, Rodney Clawson, Tom Shapiro, Luke Laird. This was definitely the time where Aldean was at his hottest, and the best writers in town were sending him the songs. This was Aldean near his peak for sure.
Absolutely, man. Another fun fact here was that in the decade-end Billboard charts from 2010 through 2019, the position it held was 103, so it was 103 on the decade-end Billboard charts. Almost top 100. For a decade, that's not bad. I would take that.
Absolutely. That's right, man.
Did you have any info on any of the singles or positions of these songs at all?
Well, the lead single off the project was Take a Little Ride, and that it reached obviously it was a number 1 country song, but it reached number 12 on the all genre Hot 100. And I'm thinking that maybe Dirt Road Anthem might be the only song that reached higher for him on the all genre chart. At the time, Take a Little Ride was a huge release. It was like I said, the debut single coming off of this, following obviously his biggest album, My Kind of Party. Yeah. And I feel like Take a Little Ride is kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit now with Aldean's singles, but at the time it was a huge smash, and he followed that up obviously with the song with Luke Bryan and Eric, The Only Way I Know, another number 1 country song. He had 2 more number 1 country songs off the record, Night Train and When She Says Baby. Yeah. And the middle single was 1994, which is kind of the ode to 90s country and Joe Diffie. And
Yeah.
it was not a big hit at the time. And he almost never, ever plays it live, which is strange because I feel like now, all these years later, like, you know, I mean, like,
It's
I
a
love
party
that
song, too.
Yeah, I mean,
mean,
I don't know. It kind of got lost in the shuffle, but
Yeah.
I love that song.
That was, yeah, no, I feel you. And this album just takes me back to, like, 2013. I mean, it came out toward the end of 2012, but, I mean, I bought this on a CD, and I was listening to it in my car. Like, believe it or not, I had a CD player in my car at one time, and I actually purchased a physical copy and listened to it. And it was when my wife and I had just started dating, and we lived about an hour apart. And, man, I would just burn that up the whole way to her house, the whole way back, you know, and that it was kind of like the anthem of that summer or like the album of that summer for us. And I went to the show that year at Riverbend, and when he was touring for this album, and you know, it takes me back to like when I was hanging out with my brother and my buddies, and we'd always turn on 1994, and you know, we were rowdy back then, a little rowdier back then, you know, and
Absolutely.
just such a. This is an album I've went back to time and time again over the past almost 10 years. I mean, this is one of my favorite albums, and you know, call it whatever, bro country, overproduced, whatever. People have their opinions about Aldean and Luke Bryan and all these guys, but this was, like you said, like peak Aldean. Like for him, he was at his hottest probably when he put this out, and I loved it, man. It's still one of my favorite records.
Yeah, I know. Just from us talking about it, I know that. I mean, this is. I mean, would you say that this is your favorite Aldean album?
Yeah, I would. This is definitely my favorite Aldean album. I love My Kind of Party, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That might be his biggest album, like that really set him off.
Yeah,
you know?
My Kind of Party's definitely his biggest album.
But my favorite would probably be
yeah.
Night Train, though.
I think Wide Open is probably my favorite Aldean record.
That's a good one too, though.
But I mean, this is definitely right there. You know, Wide Open just had a little bit more traditional country '90s kind of sound, but
yeah,
you know, this is. Well, I mean, we'll get into it. I think for me, there's some songs on this record that have stood the test of time that are some of my favorite Aldean songs, and then there's some of them that have just kind of, you know, I mean, they're still good. I still like them, but I just don't go back to them as much as some of the other stuff. Out of 10, what would you rate the record?
For me personally, I would probably give this like a solid 8.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. I don't think it's the best album I've ever heard. It's one of my favorite albums, but I don't think it's the best. But I would probably give it a solid 8 for sure.
Yeah, I'd be probably 6.5, 7. I'll go with 7.
And maybe it's just because the nostalgia that it brings me of those times in my life. It was, you know, first I met my wife, was hanging out with my buddies all the time, and this is just what we would always throw on. I don't know, but always takes me back to those years. And not that these years are bad by any means, but you know, I was 20, 21 years old back then, so just a really good time. But yeah, I would give it an 8.
That's what music's about, man.
For sure. Connecting a memory with a melody.
That's right.
I think there's a Eric Church song about that, right?
That's right.
But yeah, man, this is it's my favorite Aldean album, so I'm obviously gonna have it pretty high. But yeah, I'll give it an 8. You settled with a 7, so we'll take that.
That's right.
I guess we can go ahead and get into our ranking of the tracks, our top 10 anyway.
Let's do it, man.
I'll kick it off, man. I've got number 10. I've got Black Tears.
Oof, it's a good one.
That's a good one. What'd you have at 10?
10, I've got Staring at the Sun.
That's a good one, man. I really like that one a lot.
Yeah.
This one is one of the kind of hits. Number 9, I've got When She Says Baby.
Oh, number 9. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's one that I like that one at the live shows. It's a fun one. So that's why I've got number 9. What about you?
Number 9, I've got the lead single, Take a Little Ride.
Oh, that is another good one that's live. The whole crowd erupts and gets into that one.
I don't know. I mean, at the time I loved it, but it's so similar to so much of the other stuff that he's done that it just kind of gets lost in the shuffle for me.
Yeah, for sure. Number 8, I've got Staring at the Sun.
We were close on that one. Number 8, I've got Walking Away.
That's a good one. Number 7, I've got Talk.
Ooh, I did not have that one on my list.
Ooh, a little difference there.
Number 7, I've got This Nothing Town.
I love that one, dude.
I'm kind of surprised I didn't put it higher, but I love that one.
I think that one probably made my list, spoiler alert. But Number 6, man, I've got Feel That Again.
It's a good one. Number 6, I have Drink One for Me.
Man, I love that song.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think the other reason probably why I give it a 7 and this album is not, my top Aldean album is because when I look at a lot of these songs, there are songs very similar on My Kind of Party. Like Drink One for Me and See You When I See You are essentially the same song. And This Nothing Town, that's a theme that Aldean has gone back to over and over and over again. Hey, it works for him. I love all of them. I'm not talking bad about him, but it's just kind of those same themes. But I love Drink One for Me.
Heck yeah, man.
Here we go, top 5.
Top 5 already, man. I've got at number 5, This Nothing Town.
Oof.
Similar reasoning. It's a trope that's used over and over again. Maybe not even just by Aldean, but just in country music, period. How there's a lot going on in our small town that you don't know about, kind of thing. Like, just because it's a small town don't mean we don't have a lot going on and fun and whatever.
That's right.
But yeah, I like that one a lot. That's why I had number 5, man. What'd you have?
Number 5, I have one of the ones we were just talking about, 1994. The Ode to Joe Diffie and country music.
Can you teach us how to diffie? Yeah, that's a fun one, man.
Well, you got a number 4.
4. I am a sucker for the sad stuff. I Don't Do Lonely Well.
We do have this. Our list on this is very different compared to usual.
Yeah, I was curious because I know we both really like this one, so curious to see how this went. But yeah, at number 4, I've got I Don't Do Lonely Well. I think it's a really good song, man.
It's a good one. This is one of my favorite non-singles that Aldean has ever put out, and it's been covered by a lot of people, especially here recently. Number 4, I have Water Tower.
Man, that one is shoo-wee. The Morgan Wallen cover is probably what you're referencing, right?
That's right. That's a good one, man.
I love that song, man. Number 3, I've got Drink One for Me.
It's a good one. We both had it pretty high.
Yeah, I really like that song a lot, man. It's one that I definitely sometimes I'll not often, obviously, because there's so much new music now, but it's one that I'll go back to, time and time again. I actually go back to this album, I wouldn't say quite often, but maybe a couple times a year I'll listen to it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's one that I definitely will try to maybe start with, but yeah, I love that one. What about you, man? Top 3?
Number 3, I have, for whatever reason, I kind of forget about this sometimes, but whenever we were looking at this album and I listened to it over and over, I was like, oh man, I love this song. It's the song with Luke and Eric, The Only Way I Know.
That is a good one, man.
It is.
I can tell, my appreciation and enjoyment for music has shifted because when this album first came out, I probably would have had that pretty high.
Yeah.
But it didn't even make my list now.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy because when I was younger, man, I loved that one. I loved 1994, but neither one of those actually made my top 10, believe it or not.
Wow, that's crazy. Top 2, man.
Top 2, man. Number 2, I've got the title track, Night Train.
Oh, so do I. I knew we'd have to have one.
Yeah, there we go. Good thing we did a top 10, not I guess if we did a top 5 like we sometimes do, it probably still would have been up there. But yeah, I've got the title track, and it sounds like you do too, man.
It's a good one, man.
Yeah, that is a fun one. That was one where I just always will listen to this one the most over and over, probably. And at the live show that year when he was touring for this album, that one was just a smash. The crowd loved it. I don't know, man. It takes me back. But yeah, I love that one. Man, number 1. Do you have any idea what I've got?
Oh gosh.
Do
you have
made
to
your
take
list.
a little ride at number 1?
I do not. I will tell you.
Okay, what do you? Water Tower.
Yep, I've got Water Tower at number 1.
Yeah, I should have known.
You know me, man. But yeah, man, that's why I've got number 1, Water Tower. And Morgan Wallen's cover was phenomenal.
It was. It was part of that Deep Cuts challenge that they were kind of passing off to each other. Luke Combs did the Stapleton song, and there was a bunch of people doing it. But the Morgan cover of Water Tower is definitely one that stuck out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're gonna need a drum roll really quick before we hear your number 1. Drum roll, please.
My number 1, you had it on your list, but you had it really low. My number 1 song from the album is "When She Says Baby."
Oh, nice. One of the hits.
I think because I've seen Aldean so many times. I mean, we've both seen Aldean. Like most of these songs now, to me, are kind of what I think of when he performs them live, as opposed to the recorded version.
Yeah.
And Night Train and When She Says Baby are awesome live songs.
Yeah.
And, it's just kind of classic Aldean. I mean,
Yeah. I know.
Night Train and When She Says Baby and Take a Little Ride were probably the three biggest songs off the record. Mm-hmm. And it's just good.
Classic Aldean, man. And I
will say that when I look at the track listing, none of these songs are what you would consider his classic, like, biggest songs. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
I mean, you don't have Tractor or She's Country or Dirt Road
Truth
Anthem or
My Kind of Party.
Yeah, for an album to hold up this well without any of kind of his iconic songs on it, really, I mean, that's pretty amazing.
I do feel like this one kind of gets forgotten about. Like, it's still pop.
Yeah,
like, people love it. Like I said on TikTok when I made that video, people were like, "Oh, Night Train!" Like, everybody was loving it and talking about how that was one of their favorite Aldean albums and blah blah blah. But I feel like it just kind of gets forgotten compared to the likes of My Kind of Party, Wide Open.
Yeah.
I mean, which Wide Open, I know you mentioned that's your favorite, but that one's got some solid tracks. Wide Open, Crazy Town, Don't Give Up on Me, She's Country, The Truth.
The Truth, yeah.
That is probably my favorite Aldean song of all time, The Truth. That is like amazing song. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll go ahead and say, man, I mean, Luke Combs is obviously my favorite now, like my favorite artist. But for a long time, man, Aldean was my guy. That was like my favorite artist. I don't even know how many times I've seen him in concert. I mean, probably close to double digits, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Wide Open came out in April of 2009, and then this came out in 2012. So from late 2008 to 2013-14, that 4 or 5 year span, Aldean, you couldn't beat him, man. I mean, that was as good as it gets.
Absolutely, man. And I mean, I remember this is dating me a little bit, but I had a MySpace account. For those of you that know what MySpace is, if you don't, just Google it. It was an awesome, like, watered down Facebook, pretty much. But I'm sure everybody knows what it is. But yeah, I had a MySpace account, and you could put a profile song on your profile. If you remember, did you ever have a MySpace back then?
I did, but I don't think I used it very much. I can't really remember much about what I would have had on my account.
Dude, so eventually you could make it to where you had playlists or whatever. But how old was I? I was probably too young to even have a MySpace, but I had one anyway. I probably lied about my age and said I was like 15 and I was probably like 13 or something. I can't remember, but I had Amarillo Sky as my profile song for the longest time. And I would just like go to my profile and listen to it over and over and over and over. But yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know why. And then eventually I wound up going to like "Don't Take the Girl" by Tim McGraw. One of my favorite McGraw songs. I'll get on a tangent here about MySpace, but I have no idea how I remember that, but I do. And I've always loved Aldean, man. Even the new record, I know we haven't covered it yet, and we're going to when the other part of this double album shenanigan comes out. But I mean, there's quite a few on the new album that I really like,
There's some good stuff.
Yeah, and I just feel like he's probably past his prime, you know what I mean? Like, obviously you've got Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs, those are your hottest acts right now.
Kojo's
coming up. Yeah, Parker McCollum's got a pretty big following, building Riley Green. Whereas for the longest time, probably the past decade before these guys was Luke Bryan and Jason Aldean. Those were like the two hottest guys in the game. I mean, they were killing it. And I don't know, man. I think that people just don't appreciate some of what Aldean does now. You know what I mean? He still has a huge fan base, don't get me wrong. I mean,
oh yeah,
he's got the all-timers that have been with him through day one, and you see some of the younger generation talking about how he's their favorite artist on like TikTok and Facebook and all this stuff, but I think a lot of his really good stuff gets lost now because he's not like the main guy anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't know. Aldean's, a lot of his music is geared towards kind of that younger crowd, and as he's
Yeah.
gotten older, it's
Yeah.
not as, he needs to he needs to shift a little bit.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah, I
still
feel
works.
you. Kind of like Luke
It's-
Bryan with Where the Country Girl's At and Trace Adkins. Dude, I can't get over that, but
That's hilarious.
yeah, but no, I think that, like, not to get on this record, but the sad songs, which I've talked about, I think, on the show before, but I think that's an amazing song.
Oh yeah,
And I've heard, like,
Whiskey
nobody
My
talking
Way.
about, yeah, Whiskey My Way. I haven't heard
Yeah.
anybody on the internet really talking about this stuff, and I'm like, these are actually pretty good songs. I think Morgan co-wrote the sad songs, right?
He co-wrote both of those.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah,
But anyway,
absolutely.
that's a story for another episode.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, that's our thoughts on Night Train, guys. Comment on our social media. Let us know what you think. If you're listening on Spotify, and if you guys do listen on Spotify, I try to put a poll every week where you can vote for, like, questions and things. So I'll try to put something about Night Train on this week's, and make sure you guys interact with that. If you guys are listening on Spotify, we'd appreciate it.
That's right.
Definitely go check us out on social media. We're everywhere. You can find us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We are, like, everywhere. Just search Country Convos or Country Conversations and you'll find us. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you made it this far, I really appreciate your guys' support, and it's been fun going back in time here a little bit, man.
That's right, man. It's one of my favorite things to do is go back and look at these old albums that we grew up on and that we loved.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's always new stuff coming out, but we always got the old stuff to remember too. So
That's right.
we'll probably I think we'll probably dive into some '90s stuff coming up here soon. Maybe we might go back. Let us know what you guys think. I was thinking in March we could do like a March Madness thing. Remember when Jake was on the show talking about that? We should do something like that.
Yeah, we should, man.
Maybe like a '90s artist March Madness tournament where we all three vote and, like, advance them on or something. I think that'd be a cool episode. Let us know what you guys think if you guys would care to hear us talk about that. But
Ooh, I like that.
yeah, I think that'd be fun. But yeah, man, that's all I've got. I don't have anything else. You got any final thoughts on Night Train, country music, anything at all?
I think we're good, man. Just ready for this weekend.
Absolutely, man.
Ready to see Winona in church.
Yeah. Oh, really quick, we have a returning guest coming on the show next week. We've got a scheduled interview / hangout session with a artist that came on the show a little ways back. We won't give it up just yet, but yeah, he's a great guy. He had a huge year last year. Really kind of took off and built a little following for himself. So had a song do really well for him and get, I think, over 1 million streams now on Spotify.
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy's doing pretty good. We're super stoked to have him back on the show. He's a great guy. So you guys just look forward to that. We'll be leaking it on social media next week. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it, guys. As always, until next time, keep it country and take care of each other.